I'd like to talk about what can't be seen, but what can be sensed, known, perhaps even more accurately than what can be seen.
The picture is most places, most of the time. The feeling is not what I could be, but what I should be. Show me being more me. Turn a page. It's marigold crushed velvet, stretched and tufted over a couch. A white plastic fan.
There's a shaft
A person
of light
named
shining
Sebastian,
down
lounging,
in one
feet
specific
bare,
spot.
abs out.
You can see
The
it on
periwinkle
her
blue
face.
jacket, wide,
like
ornately
when-
pleated pants, pulling
It's
on
like when there's
burgundy
about
road.
to be a storm,
Wearing a look that says,
and the clouds
I
are so
belong.
dark that it feels like
I am
nighttime,
here.
even though it's probably in the afternoon.
I like images of people wearing clothes.
But there's some little light,
not
some
clothes,
sun,
people.
the sun that doesn't know the storm is here yet, shining through, and you can see it on her face in profile. She's holding a bundle of something in one hand, and on the other hand, she's pulling fibers together and pushing her palm down on her thigh in long strokes, twisting the fibers, twisting and pushing, rolling them around each other until they make string. She takes the string in the next frame, and she's tying the string to other strings. The strings are all working together. There's women in the dark, in this dark storm light, tying the strings together.
Hearing something said,
They're naked.
can feel the truth.
You can see the sun on their
Voice or
skin,
sound with no other
the
visual
shaft of light
cues.
coming down from the sky, between
Contains
the dark
worlds
clouds,
of
and
information.
between the leaves and the trees, illuminating their
What does
skin
this mean?
as they work.
Why
Someone
am I
is in
drawn
the corner.
to
She has a
one
pot
fashion
of
image
red.
versus another?
And the pot is
When I
basically
look at
just a
them
basket filled with
over
mud.
time,
The mud keeps the
there
liquid,
is
the red,
always
from coming
this
out.
ease
And
of
she's
the
dipping
model,
some strings in the red,
the angle,
and they
of
come out the other
setting.
side looking red. And they
Perhaps
go in one
there's
side
something
just
else
looking
being
kind of mushy
communicated other
brown.
than the intention of
They
the
go into the
shoot
red and they
or the
come out
creative
red.
direction. This question asks us to be in our
You see a woman
bodies,
standing,
feel and receive this
wearing nothing
information.
but the skirt. It's just red
As
strings
always,
around her
all
waist.
around. Yet when
The
they
other
look
women look
directly
at
at
her,
it, it
and you can
disappears.
tell that they love her. She's one of them, but she's special. She is special, and you know she is special because her skirt of strings, her skirt that you can see her body through,
snowboarding styles,
her skirt that tells you important information, that she
shirts
is
would
special.
include brands like Alpha
She
Minor,
is
Ben
ready,
Davis,
and she will
Champion,
become a more
pants will
important
be
person in her group
sized
now.
up.
She will become a mother.
Like size 40, size 42 on waists that typically fit size 34. Shoes would be skateboarding shoes like S's, TC's, Castells, Actions, and the setting would just be like a strip mall parking lot. This is the coolest way to dress, and it needs to be brought back.
Brothers who make this lingerie in a capital in Syria. The photographs are these items of undergarments spread on bright backgrounds. The backgrounds both flatten and extend like a party on mute to house these little triangles and swirls and lines covered in furs and sequins. There's mesh on top of mesh. Little bits of fake snake skin peek out. Wire spirals that hold flowers under them, as well as eventually, I suppose, nipples. There's a lot of night shots of the Syrian market
favorite things to
where this lingerie is sold.
Is
faux fur lines the door,
underwear,
crammed shelves,
nothing else.
wait with boxes.
Summer afternoon,
I come back to one image
just sort of being
of
in
the
the
garments.
house, doing
There's a woman
things
dressed, face
in a t-shirt and
hidden
underwear.
slightly. She is
In
not
a
coy,
time in my life,
but also not proud, just matter of fact
it's
about
harder
What I
than
see
it
on
used
the
fact
page is a
that her
person
to feel
pussy is covered in a bronzing rhinestones, in stripes and dashes, a sort of wild forest of gleaming
wrapped inside of a
ores.
handkerchief that's
And
also got
a
sunglasses
bra that's
hanging
been
on the
painted
outside
and
pocket.
indented.
They're wearing a
Just
burnt
sort of
red button-up that's slightly unbuttoned so you can see their collarbone. They've got a briefcase in one hand and they're strutting the streets of Koreatown that are somehow void of all people. The sun is strong and they're walking towards this beautiful building that's definitely made for business. It's got that 80s vibe, very much so has those smoky windows that I think we might all love. And there's a chair somehow sitting in the tangent of the shadow. And this person sits down in this chair, opens up their briefcase, and it's empty. And then they sit there and they look up, arcing their head about 30 degrees up towards the building which they're facing, letting the sun beam into them. And you start to see that their face is changing color and it becomes almost like iridescent, like, you know, how a duck would look when they first come out of the water. And they slowly start to turn all of their skin that you can see becomes a part of this iridescence. And they take off all of their clothes and they fold them neatly in the briefcase until they are only wearing their penny loafers and sunglasses. And they are naked and they are iridescent and they are colorful and they are beautiful and they are transcending into the sky. And then suddenly they're gone and all that's left is the print of their bottom, the briefcase with all their clothes, the sunglasses, and the flower on the ground.
I am the keeper of many things. Collections of this and that have come and gone. Family photos and memorabilia have taken up residence in a tub somewhere in the rafters. Favorite jeans grown tight were donated long ago. I never have to look far for the pages that I've torn from lookbooks, magazines, and dated newspaper style sections.
The casting is 3 young kids
Long before we
ranging
knew
in
the
age
pan or
14 to
storyboard,
16.
these colorful
They
clippings
look like they
burst
could
from
have been
walls
picked
of
up in a
tiny
county
apartments
fair.
and basement
There's
studios.
an older sister.
They are the
character
reminders
with
of
a
color,
blonde,
big and
curly
bold.
hair, who simply
Oversized
styles a
flowers
t-shirt
that
with
serve
a
as
full dress
forests to
and
leggy
sunglasses.
nymphs wrapped in
There's a
sheer
middle-aged
fabric
sister with
cut on the
plenty of
bias.
freckles and could be wearing
Suits
her
worn
sister's
by air
pants.
guitar supermodels, chiseled
She's
in
wearing
black
an
and
oversized
white.
coat, sparkly hot
Geishas
shorts,
with
and
painted
belly
ivory
flannel.
faces and
The
ruby
youngest,
lips,
a young boy,
animated
looks
yet
rambunctious and
emotionless.
adventurous and
Whisker-faced gentlemen
with
in
paint
long
across
flowing
his face and
gowns.
chest, wearing a
Crocodiles
velvet hat
tucked in
and
bed
shoes.
with a beautiful red hat.
What I love
A
about
blank-faced
this
girl
editorial is
feeding
that
a rat
nothing feels
from a
forced.
sippy cup.
Nothing is
A
overpolished
silver
or
coiffed
glamorized.
couple
It's
flanked by
documentary
fuzzy-faced
style. I
mutts.
feel like I'm getting a glimpse
Spiky
inside the
hair,
lives of these kids
fists
as
in the
they
air,
embark and enter
poolside
important stages of
glamour,
youth and
steely-heart
exploration.
stares.
They're running around.
Rooms that reach
pictures
the
are blurred.
heavens,
They
flags that
appear
loop
to be
on
hanging by a
hillsides,
creek at one point
snails
and
that
then
leave
walking
a
down a
trail.
dirt road at sunset the next.
These
There is so much
pictures live
beauty in
not
letting
on a
kids be
telephone or
themselves and
screen,
define their own
but are
identity
easily
as they
tucked in a
grow
folder
more into
and taken
themselves.
along to places
I see that in these
that belong
pictures,
to
as well as
every
a
day.
realism and tribute to everyday American life.
My imagined page features pieces made by people who were paid
As
a
my eye
living
travels
wage
across an open sunlit
using
courtyard
sustainable
somewhere in the Maldives,
practices
I noticed tile and geometric
worn by a
patterns.
person who
Simpler
felt
than
that they
Islamic
had
tile, but approaching
agency
similar shapes.
over their own
A
representation,
couple appears in the foreground on the right side of this image.
photographed by a person
Caucasian
who
with
isn't a
Western beauty
cisgendered man.
standards, they're relaxed and casual in their stride.
These
Hands in
pieces
pockets.
don't use
They're
prison
dressed in white
labor,
clothing.
the
The
mono
man
isn't
looks like he's trying to
fetishized,
assimilate, wearing
and
a
the photos
hooded
are
linen
not
tunic
retouched.
over his white pants. The tunic was
The
pulled
location
with the hood
feels
up, and the
safe
linen closure
for
ended
everyone,
at mid-torso.
and no one
The
was
tunic is
harmed
unzipped
during
just
the
enough to
making
reveal that
of
he's
these
wearing a white
images.
dress shirt and a black tie. black oxfords complete his look. The woman is also
The
dressed in
image I
white
see
in
is
a
very
manner reminiscent of a 1930s
Two bears,
colonial
middle
style.
age, both
Inspired by the
wearing
English patient
dark
from
colored or
Casablanca.
gray jackets.
She wears
And
long,
up
wide
top, they're
pants
wearing
with deep
hoodies,
cuffs
bright
and a
colored
double-breasted
hoodies
jacket
or
with a
pastel
wide
hoodies,
lapel.
and
She
dyed
is also
hair.
wearing a white dress shirt and a black
And
tie.
on the feet, they're wearing
Her blonde
brightly
hair is
colored
pulled
New
back, but
Balance.
she doesn't cover it,
That's
which
the
strikes me as odd considering that her white male companion is covered,
is me.
and she boldly or naively
To be
doesn't.
honest, I don't know
Over her
anyone
white
else
suit, she
who
wears
could
a
fulfill
open, black,
my
white,
fashion
striped
fantasies
caftan
in quite the
cardigan.
same way.
It is knit in a
Who
very
I don't
fine
know
gauge
anyone
yarn and
else
flows
who
behind her as she walks.
Can
My favorite part of her look is her Clark Wallabies,
say
the iconic
what
sand-colored
I want to
gumshoe.
say besides
I'm not the only observer.
myself, and
Bystanders are
I'm sure that
starting to
says a
gather
lot,
about her,
but
noticing the couple. It's a
the way I
contemporary
see
portrait
the
of
images is that
in my interpretation, as a
hair
risk of
is
mixed descent, a direct
I
reflection of her own
bright
continuous
red
being and existence.
highlights in the
The image
bottom of
centers
my
a
hair is
solitary
all
young
red,
black man standing on
and
a
my
gray
middle
rock
part
cliff.
is
In the background is a blurry green mass of nature,
probably with
accented by
a
a
little
clear
bit of
blue
black
sky
grow
with a
out.
slightly hazy undertone.
And
The grayness of the colors gives the image a
in one of the
sense of tranquility,
images, I'm
but
standing
there's still
tall,
a sense of dissonance.
almost knee deep
Standing in
in
stark
a taro
contrast to
patch,
the stunning natural
and
landscape
I'm
is the
wearing
reformed
a
body of the young man.
bright colored,
The subject is wrapped
very
from neck
patterned,
to ankle in a
vibrant
synthetic, woven, and seemingly
velvet suit
ubiquitous material.
to match
It is that
the
cheap,
velvet
durable
feel
material
of the taro
primarily
leaves.
used for cheap, durable bags,
And then
often
in
found
another
in the
image,
developing world and their
I'm
diasporas.
wearing
However, he is not wearing
a
clothes
little
fashioned from this
grass
material, but rather the
chaps.
material itself.
Instead of a little grass skirt, I'm
His
wearing little grass
encasement offers
chaps.
no holes so that he may
And
free and use his arms.
that's
And
the more
thus,
countryside
his body
of
is not
me.
only consumed, but also
I'm surrounded by
reformed
chickens
by a symbol of modern
and
consumption.
probably wearing
Further
an
emphasizing
Armani
the restrictive
tank
nature
top
of what he dons
with
is a rope that wraps
custom
continuously
cowboy
around his
boots,
body,
and
which seems especially
course, I
tight
have them all.
around his ankles to prevent him from moving.
This image is from 2006.
This provides a sense of stillness, but also
in
of
an
entrapment.
editorial called Checkmate,
Sometimes
W
the light
Magazine.
pink and blue material
There's a model
billows and
reclined on
bundles
the
outside
bench seat of an old
confines of
car
the
or
road
truck.
and creates lumps
The
and
manual
bumps
window is rolled
similar
down,
to the
looks
famous
hot
Comme
and
des Garçons
humid.
collection.
Her
But
hair is
despite
frizzy,
being
like there's a
restricted
lot of
and
moisture in the
reformed by
air.
the materials that have
She's got
involved
on
his
what looks like a
person,
school
he
uniform
seems to stand strong,
and a tape cassette in
resilient,
her hand.
and at peace.
Looks like she's cutting class to listen to music, relaxed, on a warm spring day.
On a planet not so different from our own, riddled with class warfare, riddled with mass inequality,
The dress is the
riddled
only
with
one
the
who will
permanent
tell you the
underclass.
secret, but you have to spend
There's a
time
woman
with her, amid
on a
her
stage.
ruffles and
She's wearing a
gauze
beautiful
and
red dress.
sculptural relief
She has dark
that
hair,
explodes from
pulled
the
back
waist
into a 50s style
of our
updo.
heroine.
She has 3 breasts,
She
spikes
slouches
coming
in
out of her
a
cheek,
jacquard over
and 2
stuffed
holes in her
settee.
face for a nose.
Her knees are open.
She's a
They
lounge
are
singer.
engulfed in
She
the
has a look
dress.
of resignation on her
A
face,
wilted
riddled with
carnation,
pockmarks, a
tattered
look of sorrow and
strewn
longing in her
across
eyes for a
soil
life that could have
and the
been so
ivy
much
in
more.
the garden.
Talents that could have been
One of the
appreciated,
tattered
seen,
tendrils lies at
understood
the
at
feet
such higher levels than they are.
of our male subject, whose tortured face is nothing but melancholia. He leans on a Victorian
God gave me the
tripod
ingredients
camera.
and told me to make a woman.
He's
I'd make
so
her just like
sad.
my wife.
His coat is draped over his shoulder and his white shirt is open and disheveled. He looks as if he's about to leave. They don't look at each other, these two. There's tension. What's happened here? There's been a wilting,
There's a white backdrop
a flower,
on the
a
back
deflower,
behind her and on the floor.
an assignation.
She has this
Loss of
huge
innocence.
infectious
The dress
grin
tells
spread
that
out all over
story.
her face and is kind of just
But
dominating the
how did it
photograph.
happen? How did it come to
Her hair is
happen?
big and permed
Who conquered
and
who?
cascading down behind her. She's got this
Of other
tight little
subjects,
rhinestone
the text
beaded
hangs.
dress on.
Everything's
really
got a
short,
moral, if
way
only you
above
can
the
find
knees,
it.
top of the thigh.
The dress will
almost
tell you
too
the
short.
story. She'll let you in on the
It's
secrets.
got little drippy bead bits and danglies and is catching the light in all these fun different ways. The only piece of jewelry she has on is a little chain necklace with a heart in the center. She has on heels. They look like they're metallic, strappy. Looks like she's ready to dance. She's holding a microphone, and the cord is just flying out behind her, like she's whipping it around. Looks like she's singing. The photos of Tina Turner wearing a Azzaro dress taken by Richard Avedon in New York in June 1971. I love this image so much. It's cropped tight above her head and her feet, so she looks like a tree. So tall, her legs just kind of go on for days and just look like pillars rooted in the ground. She looks happy and joyful and in control. She looks powerful.
The room is awash with bright afternoon sun. Not a single shadow is cast around her curving form. Her skin shone like bright brushed marble, the gleaming white softened by the terry of her voluminous hooded bathrobe. Her kohl-lined eyes glint mischievously into the camera as she gathers her fish-knitted legs into herself. Her hair, blue-black, piled loose and high. The photographer surely has said something funny because her eyes are still smiling. A small string of pearls added to each of her grandmother's mint-colored earrings completed the black and white photograph that aspired to be in Unvert's post-punk classic.
Projecting fire breathing, if you will, at an open coliseum, and in each window of the coliseum there is then more people in full Bottega Veneta outfits posing so hard that it's actually fighting off the dragon.
Yes, insane Bottega hat. And the dragon also is wearing Bottega Veneta.
Oh,
it's kind of like
carrying a very small purse.
Exactly. It's great. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like High Street meets Yu-Gi-Oh. You know,
wow.
That's really what we're going for.
This Dragon Ball Z action shot of Bottega Veneta makes it